Welcome back to No Man's Sky. Oh, crap. Oh, okay, I didn't... I don't remember being on top of that. Okay. I had stuff planned that I was gonna say, but that's gonna have to wait until I get back to my ship. Okay. So, I am actually not going to be looking for any iridium at all. Instead, I'm getting out of here. So you may be wondering why I'm not looking for the iridium. And the answer to that is... Ooh, what's that? Space anomaly. Cool. I'm gonna go to this planet instead, though. So really, what happened is my girlfriend really wanted to play No Man's Sky, and so she ended up kinda sort of hijacking it and spending an entire week playing it. Which, that's why there were no videos of me playing it for a week. However, that also means that I learned something valuable. Everything that you've seen in the last 7 videos of me playing it, that is extremely representative of how the entire game is. You land on planets, you find the similar resources on every planet. Every planet actually looks 70% similar to the previous one, except for the bad weather. You get a better hyperdrive. You warp to systems with more identical planets, and you repeat this process hundreds of times until you reach the center of the galaxy. And, well, I'll tell you, it's not quite worth it. It is not quite worth it. Now, if you care about spoilers, you are entirely welcome to cover your ears and come back in like a minute. So, what happens when you reach the center of the galaxy? You are promptly whisked off to another galaxy where you can do the exact same thing over and over and over again. The new galaxy does not have different looking planets, it does not have different looking environments, it does not have different NPCs, does not have different upgrades. It, for all intents and purposes, is the same game over and over and over again, which would be fine if the existing game weren't the same thing over and over and over again. Okay, I think that is the end of anything spoilery. Not that it's much of a spoiler. So that does sound a bit negative about the game, I admit. But the issue is that No Man's Sky is actually, like, it's really cool. Because, I mean, there's all these planets. You can land on the planets, and it stretches off in every direction as far as the eye can see, which is really impressive. But something can be really cool without being super fun, and I think that that's the issue that No Man's Sky starts running into. At a certain point, it becomes really obvious that you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. If there were, say, an extensive quest line associated with each of the different races, that would have made a huge difference. If there was more variety in the planets, that would have made a difference. If there were maybe cities on some of them, would have made a difference. But nope, you're seeing the same bases and the same 3 races in all of them. It's just, for how much superficial variety there is in the game, the actual amount of functional variety is extremely low. Or at least it's way lower than it should be. Animal, what are you doing? See, he doesn't like the things I'm saying about the game. I will make sure to tell you, though, that you really should follow the Path of Atlas. The Path of Atlas gives the game a little bit of a sense of structure. Basically, on the galactic map... Oh, hold on. Let's get up here and I'll show you. Oh, and you can open these, which those have good items in them, usually. Okay, so now that we're in space, yeah, if you go to the galactic map, it gives you, instead of this orange line, there's a blue line that you can follow too, and the blue line is the Path of Atlas. Don't worry, the galaxies along the Path of Atlas aren't really any different than the regular ones, except for a special kind of space station that's an Atlas station. So, I previously have played, I don't know, a dozen games or so far for the YouTube channel. And most of the time, I've stayed away from any kind of explicit review statement. Because I've always been of the opinion that most games have some amount of positive features, and that you're really going to see whether the game is good or not by watching somebody play it, and you don't really need to hear them say their opinion about what you're watching at the same time that they're seeing it. I mean, you probably form your own opinion just by watching it. But sometimes, in the case of No Man's Sky, and in the case of games like it, I think there are things that really are easier to articulate by telling than they are by showing. Because I could show you 1,000 videos of me playing No Man's Sky, and that is actually feasible because, seriously, there's planets everywhere. I could show you. But it's just so much more efficient to say that the game is way cooler than it is fun. Because I'm sure that some people going down to the planets and landing on them, looking around, is never going to get old. But for me, at least, it really actually kind of did. And ordinarily, I would make a point of finishing the game anyway. But there's not really even an ending, because I've seen the ending. I've seen what happens if you follow it through to its conclusion, and what happens is it just... you're still doing the exact same thing. And even after doing that, there's not a conclusive ending. And for all I know, there is an ending if you stick with it, and you stick with it, and you stick with it. But I don't know about you, but I don't want to make like 90 videos just to find out if it does. Especially not because there's other things coming out that I would like to try. So this doesn't mean that I'm like completely done with No Man's Sky, because the developers may very well patch in some cool stuff. There's lots of things that could be added to the game, lots of things that could be improved, and so, I mean, yes, I would be interested in coming back to it in, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 months. It all depends on what they add and how quickly they add it. But in its current form, I think the best comparison is that No Man's Sky feels a lot like trying to explore an entire world in Minecraft. Like, it's exciting at first, and at a certain point, it just really just goes on and on. It's not more stuff that you want to do, it's just more work. It just goes on for so long that it's not really impressive anymore, and instead it's just sort of exhausting. Well, I'm not saying that No Man's Sky isn't worth trying, because, I mean, it is, it's cool. There's not really many things that are like it. But I am saying that it might not be worth going out of your way to get brand new just to see. If you've got a friend that's got it, by all means, play it, and you may very well find that something about the loop of it speaks to you. But I've got a feeling that if you're like me or most of the people that I know, it kind of becomes aimless, directionless, and much more same feeling than it should. Because I don't want to belittle the technical accomplishment of No Man's Sky, which is, well, seriously, there's galaxies as far as the eye can see. That is immense technical accomplishment. But as far as, like, game design accomplishment, it's not really there yet. And it might very well be there later. But in its current state, I'm not sure that No Man's Sky is something that I can, like, super enthusiastically recommend to anybody. Well, not at its current price. Obviously, the equation changes a lot if you can get it for free. Pretty much everything is worth it when it's free. Yeah, but I didn't want to just stop playing it, so I figured I'd make one more video, kind of saying I've spent more time with it, this is what I got out of it, this is what I would expect you to get out of it, and I think that going forwards, I will be playing other games, of course, and they may end up being slightly more reviewy, I guess. Not like explicit, like 8.5 out of 10 style reviews, but instead of showing quite so often, there may need to be a little bit more telling along the side. Which is not to say that I'm going to be talking all the time. I don't want to talk all the time. But okay, maybe it would be fair to say that actually nothing's going to be any different. It's still going to be me playing the game, trying to be fairly chill about everything, not being especially good at any of the games, but liking most of them. But you can like stuff and still be critical without being negative. And I think that my experience with No Man's Sky has made me realize that it's possible to show stuff and have it seem better than it actually comes across. So, this planet up here, Negray Ador IL-432, this is probably going to be the last planet that I ever land on in this file, because the other file, I mean, I've got a much more upgraded ship, all that, which, that's another thing. When you upgrade the ships, they don't actually get any better. It's just they've got more storage. More storage slots in the inventory. Same thing with the multi-tools. It's all functionally equivalent, except for inventory size and the cosmetic look of it. Which is really, I think, emblematic of all of the problems with No Man's Sky, where it looks more impressive than it actually feels doing it. Although there is something to be said for just being able to fly, land on just any planet and land anywhere. But that one cool moment that the game delivers over and over and over, it is an impressive trick, but it still means that the game only has one trick. And I don't know about you, but I like my games having at least I don't know, 3, 4, 5 tricks. So, just gonna land right here.
Toxic protection. Stabilizing.
See? This is a nice planet. Light showers, relaxed, abundant flora, not much in the way of life. But look, yeah, we've got greenery everywhere. Nice blue water. Not even toxic. Cool. Yeah, look at this. It's a very nice place. I'm not sure why there's a zigzag in the water. But still, if you don't pay any attention to the floating zigzag, it's quite nice.
Technology recharge.
So this planet here is going to be where my explorer spends the rest of his days, at least until something major gets added to the game. So we're gonna go over here, and this base is going to be his home. Yeah, this is where he's gonna live from now on. So, if you decide to play No Man's Sky, I suggest severely tempering your expectations about how much game there is to it, because it really is much more about exploring than it is anything else. The crafting element is not especially deep. The space combat is dangerous and not very rewarding, and the planets all kind of run together after a while. So, if you are in it for exploring planets, you may very well be 100% pleased with it. I would still, however, suggest following the path of Atlas instead of doing what I did and not following it. But I think that's all that I have. That's the thoughts on the game, a summary, my experience with it, and it even gets a bit of a happy ending because my explorer gets to live on this nice planet, gets a free house. Yeah, he could be doing a lot worse. Well, thank you very much for watching. This has been No Man's Sky. Not all of it, but enough of it that you hopefully have an idea of what it's like. If you feel like watching other gameplay videos and unboxings and all of those sorts of things, you can subscribe to Imperial Future, where we are, in general, pretty cool. We like most stuff, like cool stuff, and we would like to share it with you. So, subscribe, and we'll see you back here later playing some other video game.